Now you need to call on your panelists and take over.
May I have your attention? Yes?
It's working, it's working.
Nice. So, it's working, yeah? Should I? So, welcome back from the coffee break, most of you. I would like to ask we are going to discuss on the civil society dynamic on integration, inclusion, and empowerment of vulnerable groups at national and European level. And I'm the Michael Kavklis, the President of the House of Europe in Rhodes, Greece. I would like to call Laura Maria Rahala, Director of Immigrant from Finland. Applause, please. Adel Al-Baghdadi, Head of the WID organization from the Netherlands. Rashid Abubakar Idrisu from SECDA, Spain. Thank you. Ursula Rusma, Director of British Council Estonia, from Estonia, of course. And Uwe Smid, Director of Bracula, Germany. He's outside still. He will join us. Can we? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Should I start, Mr. Basile? Yeah. So, we would like to start with some opening statements from you on the topic in discussion. I remind you that the central topic is civil society's role and the dynamics on integration, inclusion, empowerment of vulnerable groups at national and European level. Please try also to discuss about your country's national experiences, of course, and then we proceed to some questions and give back the floor to the audience. Thank you. Maria, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you very much. I represent Fimmigrant. It's an organization with a special work with migrants, refugees, and all people who are coming to live in Finland or planning to live in Finland. And my opinion is that civil society organization is very important for these questions, because when the people coming for another country, and today we many times talk about like migrant, refugees, but I say people, because they're coming and we want to make for them our place. They are feeling like at home in our places. But sometimes it happens like that, that maybe we don't know their culture or they don't know our culture. And then coming like that, that we are misunderstood each other and we can't be together in peace. And for my opinion, civil society organization we are helping those people. For example, we make some workshops, we have a meeting, we have some discussion club, on and on. And our idea is like that work for both way, how today also my colleague talk, that not only like all migrants and refugees understand rules of Finland, I talk about like Finland, but also Finnish citizens understood how another people live, what culture they have, what their background. And one of important things, what we also talked today and before, that education for both way. And I am also very happy that we have a conference and meeting like that, because also we can educate each other for our experience and maybe take something new for our partners, some ideas, what we can put in our job. And thank you for you very much. And
Thank you, Marie. Adel, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. When I stand, I feel more comfortable. Hello, everyone. My name is Adel Baghdadi. I'm originally Syrian living in the Netherlands, and I'm the founder of We Organization Netherlands. And today I would like to share with you more the perspective about the integration on a local level and how important it is to re-localize and bring it back basically to the grassroots, because like in the morning I think we talked a lot about the EU level and how integration policies are effective, but then the inclusion of newly arrival asylum seekers, refugee migrants and stateless people has emerged as a key priorities for municipal authorities, local civil societies and services providers. While national policies establish a border policy framework, it is the local authority who are faced with often the task of translating them into action. the success of or failure to achieve an effective solution for inclusion or integration, as some of them like to call it, on a local level, can influence the future and decision making on asylum, resettlements, and complementary pathways. While the number of integration and inclusion initiatives have increased since the 2015 and 2016 peak in arrivals, we've seen very different reaction from the local authorities. Like some cities will be like open arms, you are more than welcome, come in. And we've seen like borders and walls, literally physical borders been built up. You have to stay out, you are not welcome in this country or in this continent. I try to make like more bullet points to also like have more discussion afterward with everyone here. So I will go more to the like the effective integration models that like to have a clarity about the support needed by refugees, assess the need to continuously and be aware of the access, the barriers, and the adapt services and feedback with a regular evaluation, which is not always happening, unfortunately. So like a lot of policy been put out there as a policy, but never been rechecked about like, does it work? Does it fit the people that we are working with? Even does it fit who are the targeted group? So like it's always been put from like what also been mentioned earlier, the ivory tower, and with people that may never been spoken with other people from other nationality and other cultures. Yeah, and of course, it's so important the role of refugees themselves, to give the role of the refugees or the migrants themselves to talk about themselves rather than talking about them. And here, of course, the benefits of that, it will be like the better informed decision building and insight, knowledge and skills over the refugees and over the migrants, and that will make and lead to more effective policies and more effective inclusion in society in general. I will leave it there and then we will have it on discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Proceed, you want to proceed?
Oh, sorry.
Uh,
How many minutes I have? Because I don't know if I have a PowerPoint. I don't know if I have enough time.
He needs a PowerPoint.
Yeah, but if the time is short, I'll just speak from my.
It's,
No, it's no, it's this.
okay.
Yeah, this is still like
Oh, okay.
but it depends on the time. Yeah. So my name is Rashid from Ghana, and I would say that I'm a practitioner. I'm a migrant and a practitioner, and I'm going to explain a little bit of what I'm doing as a migrant and why did I need in the place of, I'm currently living. So basically, I've listened a lot of interesting questions here, a lot of information about integration, okay, about integration, inclusive, and all that kind of stuff. But I may want to ask a question: what is migration? Though we have a political definition, but as a practitioner, if you ask me what migration is, I would just say it's like a frog running in the daytime. Either something pursuing it, or it is pursuing something. So it's to find out why is it running from where it is, and then we find out what is the solution here. So I migrated to Spain, and my migration have taught me a lot of this. And after arriving to where I want to be, I realized there are things to be changed and how to do it. Setting up an organization and then working towards these problems, which we set up CEDA, which is Cultural, Environmental, and Human Development Association. And basically, the logo there you can see is the thought that migrants have to go back and explain the reality to where it comes out from. And by doing it is to set up social integrations there. So we started the organization to explain the reality, what happened during the migration stuff. Okay, so our work is to work from the country of origin and also to receive migrants after arriving to, to Spain. And how do we think about integration? Integration not only integrating the people what you want them to be, but also integrating the people from their economic perspective, what they have from the country of origin, their experience coming, how we can integrate their, how can we integrate their knowledge into the economic developments in the country to arrive in. Yeah, not only giving them only classes and training them at a work. So we founded the organization in 2007 in Catalonia to help migrants, and in Ghana to address the reasons why people decided to migrate to Europe. So I would say we've been talking about migration. The Mediterranean Sea migration we are seeing from Africa today, I would say, is something that is, excuse me to accuse Europeans, is something that is caused by Europeans because of the Eurocentric education set up after colonization is disconnecting the people from their culture and traditions in time of education. And for me, education is an inheritance from elders to the new generations. If we are disconnected from the culture, then we cannot learn how to live within our culture context. So we need to migrate to other places. Yeah. So what do we think is inclusive integration? For me, inclusive integration is we are working to integrate migrants from the previous experience they have from the country of origin so that they can integrate economical contribution, so that Europeans want to say we are taking the jobs. So if we integrate their previous experience, how they can live within their experience within the new place, then there will not be excuse that they are taking the job from Europeans. Yeah. And also, how can Europeans be inclusive in the country of where the migrants are coming? So how do we integrate them? So this is our job in Spain. So we identify the people from the street, and this square we call it a condemned place. So if somebody is living there, meaning the person is condemned. So we recycle the person and then find out what is the experience of the person. And you can see this guy is having an experience of craft. So what he does is recycle wools from the street and make crafts and then try to sell them. So he's contributing economic integration into the country of where he's living now. Yeah, and we have Isaac, who has no documents, but he has an experience of playing table tennis. So we are able to find out a team for him that makes him to integrate his experience, and he's playing the tournament of Catalonia, and they are winning 3 cups, but he's playing without documentation. But the law says he can't do anything. He can't work to survive himself, but he's providing his experience to support a team of where he's living. Yeah. So, and we cycle migrants from try to integrate migrants from their own experience, and have an interview with most of the African migrants who are coming, having already an experience from the farming. Because basically farming is what everybody has contact with in Africa. We are still not, I would say, what's the name? Like industrialized countries, we are still from the farming. So we take this guy from the street, train him, and he's now becoming part of the project, and he's living and working with the project. And we have the master who is training them from their background of farming into the European context of ecological farming system. So we train them, and then they have to apply their experiences. So these are the classes. They are doing the theory part, and after we go to the practical, at the field, having the certificate, now you can now work as, I would say, like a farmer with a certificate of ecological farming. And so waiting for 3 years, the law says you have to wait for 3 years. Having an address that somebody provide address for you. So waiting for 3 years, and then talking about inclusive integration, I don't know how it works. If I have to stay in the street for 3 years, no social assistance, and we are talking about integration. So what we do is we integrate them into the system by using their own experience. So for waiting for 3 years, then we provide a space for you, where to stay, and this is where we provide a space for the migrants. After taking the 3 years course from the farming, so waiting for it, so we take you to this place, and then you can begin the farming there, and whatever we gain is to support them, money that they can also send to the family, money they can make calls to be in contact with the family, and this is the farm that we provide, and we build this by ourselves to host migrants whilst they are waiting for the 3 years. And after the product, so we are now going into the market, economic integration with the migrants, own experience from the field, production, and then to the market. So after they have the documents, they cannot work without taking job from nobody, because this is their own product that comes out from their own experience. Yeah, and we also try to integrate, the citizens about what are the problems of the migrants' country and what is the difficulties and how they can also integrate socially with the migrants so that they can also contribute or having the willingness in supporting the situation of migrants from the country of origin as well as receiving them. So they need to be integrated. So we explain why the people live and what the people need as they are here. Yeah, so and you can see how we are making integration, cultural integration, playing games with the people so we can interact, creating a space of interaction together using the cultural as a platform. Yeah, and finding solution in Ghana for migrants' origin. So we are now working in Ghana, trying to find out what is the causes of migration from Ghana. I'm from Ghana, and I realized the system of education is connected me from my place. Therefore, I don't see opportunities. So what we do is to go back and then make interview with elders who have not been to Western education after setting up the Eurocentric education. They still possess this information that is not being taught in the school. Therefore, we need to recycle this information, and that would make the new generation to be able to identify new opportunities from where they are. So, and this is restoring the traditional agricultural practice with native crops and for the next generation. So we have our native crops that understand the environment, the weather, but these informations are not taught in the school. It's Western philosophy, Western history, Western ideas, and then this is the pull and push factor of the new generation towards Europe because we know much about Europe. So what we are doing in Africa is to recycle this information from elders to be able to have a new system of education, which we believe is a cultural inheritance. And this is our local storage, seed storage. So the elders have knowledge of storing the seeds and grow them for the next generation with next year without rotting. And the system we have now from the agri extension officer is using by chemicals, and this is also affecting the native product there. So we are recycling the information from elders how they were restoring these crops generations till today, and how are we mixing this connection. So we take the information to document it. And this is what we are doing in Ghana. And we have some video that is just like a minute that explain exactly what we are actually doing in Ghana. Las dos, porque son 1 minuto, 1 minuto. Well, if the sound is okay. It's not going to come. Okay. technical problems here. Okay. Oh, this is in Catalan. Yeah, so these are kind of like short videos explaining, the system of consumption in Europe, how it also creates consequences other places.
Kazina yagmo yagla da abuke wawi an wawi la zerere dana da an lo gomda tian da abu dotona kal ya da him limon da la tan chandi bana na ya we bela ba bura kal bol zehare diga dikebe kigisu. Yahana on one. Joga la vie de 3 years could be the table, the years could be the Gano Yari. So, Madame.
This music is not from the video. Yeah,
you.
so
Thank you, Rashid.
yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the thorough presentation. Ursula, you have the floor. You want to say? Of course.
I'll try to be very brief. I'm sorry I'm taking you back from this lovely music to maybe some core theoretical stuff regarding social cohesion. My name is Ursula Rosma, and I represent the British Council in Estonia. And I'm trying to pull together into a few minutes the practical work that we have been doing in Estonia over the last 6 years. The British Council was the first cultural relations organization established in 1934. And the aim at that time was to stop the Second World War from happening. As we all know, we didn't succeed. And today we mentioned again the day of the 9th of May, and I must say I haven't been as worried about that day, the 9th of May, I think for the last 30 years. We were celebrating the anniversary of the Estonian regaining independence on the 24th of February. And can you imagine with what feelings we started the day when we had all been in celebratory mood, baking cakes at home, and you open the radio and the first thing you hear is that the war has started. And it does affect very deeply, actually, I'm coming here, the part of Europe which is facing the invader. The British Council has always worked to build, create, and establish trust and mutual understanding between different countries through arts, through culture, through sports, through education, and the English language. When we started the People-to-People Cultural Engagement Program 6 years ago, we clearly understood that these small countries had deep wounds. Again, referring to the young man this morning who said that I'm worried and I'm being bullied. And we have come to a strange situation in Estonia, where suddenly these people who have been living beside us for 50, 60 years suddenly tell me that they feel like third-class citizens. And you know how painful this is to hear. And when we started the People-to-People program 6 years ago, we understood immediately that although we have been working on social cohesion for 30 years, we were still living in silos. We had two separate communities, sometimes coming together, sometimes living their own lives. And we understood that we needed to do something to create this safe, shared cultural space. And 6 years ago, when we started the program, I want to refer to Anneli's presentation, because from that point on, we were starting together with the stakeholders, the Ministry of Culture, and at that time, the department was called the Department of Integration. We stopped using the word integration, by the way. And for 6 years, we have been talking about social cohesion, and even more during this last year, we are talking about shared cultural space. And this is what we want to create. To create this shared cultural space, we have learned a few things. We have been supporting around 200 different projects and working very closely with 50 civil society organizations. Interestingly, again, the Estonian civil society is very organized. We have different clubs, societies, village associations, just mention it. It's not true, and I hope Vasily will agree with me, we haven't got the same kind of engagement with the Russian-speaking population, who forms about 30% of the Estonian population. We have around 60 different nationalities. So the first thing we understood, in order to start working with these communities, we need to enter these communities, and we understood we can't go there as a national organization or a state organization. So we started looking for the agents, the small CSO, sometimes two-person small civil society organizations, and we started doing projects with them. That was the one learning that we really felt, and it worked. It has really worked over these 6 years. These small organizations came with very different backgrounds, some very inexperienced. So a big task that we took upon ourselves was building up the capacity of these civil service organizations. We worked through grants, but for them, for some of them, even writing a project proposal was a problem. Even more difficult, understanding the key performance indicators, which people who have been doing European projects know can be very, very tricky and difficult. So reporting was a very difficult issue. So we started building up those civil society organizations. Another thing which we discovered was that they had their very clear, specific theme that they wanted to do, or an idea. From point one, we started co-creating these projects, parallelly building this organization, but also bringing in our understanding and learning and expertise already. So they took major leaps actually in becoming stronger and engaging the audiences that we were looking for. We understood also, as I said at the beginning, the British Council has always worked through arts and culture and education. And we clearly felt that these were the key areas that we needed to work. Everybody understands culture and music and literature. By the way, I don't know how many of you have read Dostoevsky, but if you look at Raskolnikov's Third Dream, look it up. I thought on the 25th of February, how could somebody, Dostoevsky, describe something that happens in 2022 so well? And I think this is about arts. We all understand because it addresses something deep here, deep in our souls and hearts. And arts are the best way. We have drama performances where the people of Narva, where some of you were, training them and teaching them to tell the stories and tell the stories to that audience in Narva who usually wouldn't come to an Estonian performance. So I think this is, culture and arts is an excellent way of reaching out to those communities. And Station Narva, which actually started yesterday evening, is going to Narva on Saturday and Sunday, is exactly trying to do this, taking the new types of culture, but tries to bring the Estonian, the international, the Russian-speaking communities together. Another ideal form is definitely sports. Internationally, in Europe as well, think about your football teams. I suggest that you rely on this as well. And actually, there is this Active Citizens. We have a very special training program, which is called Active Citizens. It is a week-long training program for civil society organizations, leads. So we've worked very strongly in non-formal and formal education as well. I'll stop there because I can go on for an hour, and I think it would be more interesting to listen to your questions, and then we can elaborate. So.
Thank you, Ursula. Uwe, you have a question.
Yes, thank you very much. It's very interesting. The British Council, I think we have this a little bit the same in Germany. It's called Goethe-Institute, and the French have the Institut Français, and the Chinese Confucius Institute, nearly working like the same. So some countries singing in the same way, and yeah, we work on a local level, and we try to bring people together with arts too. And I come from Hamburg. I'm Uwe Schmidt. I'm the director of Bracula. It's called for Bramfelder Kulturladen. It's a social cultural center in Hamburg in the north of Germany. Wonderful cities there, and maybe somebody knows it. With a big harbor, a little bit like Tallinn and a little bit like other cities in Europe. And it's fantastic work. Yes, we have different types of work. We do theater, we do music, we have a stage, we do projects, we have some empowerment activities. An example, we have some new parties. When there is a new party growing up in our town, they first start in this little social cultural center. Maybe there's a vegan party now, and there is party for animal rights. There are a big theme in Germany, and there's a woman group for the Green Party meeting in Dracula. And every time when there is some interest in the area we come from, The people tried to find other people. They wanted to grow up a network, and they wanted to find other people, and we help them to find other people. We have a big network, and sometimes we can bring people together. It's called Stadtteilkonferenz. It's every month there is a big meeting of the area, maybe 40 to 50 people, and they discuss the problems, what there are. Nowadays, we wanted to have more bicycle lines in this city, or there's another things with the trees, not cut the trees, or we have some problems with the right party, with AfD, or some people wanted to fight against this, and so they find a place there and some possibilities to meet there. And yes, we like it to do this work. It's very political, and the normal political parties don't like this work, because there are some groups, normally they're coming from this very left part of the political area, and so it's sometimes a problem, because the political, the conservative political parties, there are a lot in Germany. They find, they are only making noise, and they're getting organized, and it's not nice. So when it's grown up, they say, oh, we like this the active citizenships, and we like NGOs. But I think that's more and more getting a problem. And this is the reason the normal political parties wanted to be part of this cultural center too. They wanted to have their own ideas what we should do. And this is a pity, because we get money from the state, and so they say, oh, when you wanted to have money, you should do what we want. And so it's a little problem for us to not to be so aggressive, and not to give some groups rooms when they don't like it. There is Antifa group, and there is some people, or the police said, when you have this group in your house, you can't get money. Or we have old communists group there, DKP. I don't know if you know this group, and this is not easy to make this work for this empowerment groups. Another part is this inclusion. We have some handicapped people, we have LGBT communities, and the biggest problem, I think, it's they're getting more and more poor people in our area, and I think in Hamburg too, because it's very, very expensive to find a flat, and so it's very, it's a big problem, and it's a very cruel society sometimes, because we don't care about very much about them. We have some programs like Hartz IV. You can get money for the government to pay a flat or to pay food, but it's not enough. So very many old people, they have to collect bottles, an example, and sell them to supermarkets. And it's not very nice when you see these old people who worked a lot, who have worked for 40 years, and when they're getting old, and they don't have enough money to buy food, and they grab in the garbage and to look after. It's really sad for us, and so we try to give them some chance to save money. Like there is a food sharing refrigerator where people can give their food, and there are some organizations who collect the food. There are some supermarkets who say, okay, you can, we can give the food to you, and so they have a possibility to have cheap food, and we do even the cooking from these vegetables or from the bread we get. And before Corona, we have every midday the people can eat there for free. But we think it's very it's not good, because normally we are a rich country, and it should not be that the people getting more and more poor, and on the other side the other people getting more and more rich, and so it's not fair for this. And and we think that's to change this. There should be a system change. It should not be the capitalism like this. We would like to have, or we try that we have some other possibilities for the people that they can organize, and that the poor people get more rights. It's not even the poor people because they are migrants or there are other minorities. It's getting more and more poor people from Germany. There is not a special problem with them. And we not divide them. There is LGBT, there is migrants, there is poor, and this is a problem like this. We want to bring them together with arts. We do some arts exchanges with other countries. There's a lot of exchanges with African countries. We start with Ghana and with Burkina Faso, and since a lot of years with Senegal, and with Czech too, Ukraine too, and now we organize some concerts and some films with Ukrainian women, and doing some video calls with them so that they get they have some voice and they can say what they like to do. Yes, that is what we like to do there in Bramfeld and Dracula. There's a lot of these centers all over Germany, I think over 400, and it's a good opportunity, this social cultural work, because it's very directly to the people, and it's very you speak. Very many people come only because they don't understand the formula, or they have a little question, or they need help because they are depressed like this. So it's a little bit social work, it's a little bit artwork, it's a lot of mixed work. Thank you.
Thank you, Uwe. Thank you all for your contribution. I think we have covered most of the aspects that were set by the organizers for this panel, but now I think the audience has to be, what? You don't agree? Yeah? Everybody. Come on. Again? You want? Again? So, any questions for the audience? Any position, any statements, and any reactions on what you have heard? Yes, please, Rudy.
It's rather a reaction, not really a question. I just want to emphasize the importance of art in the fact related with non-verbal conversation, non-verbal communication. At the beginning, when we started to work with refugees, we had a lot of problems in the sense that we had Afghani people, we had Syrian people, we had all kinds of citizenships, and communication was extremely difficult. Communication in Belgium is already difficult because we have many languages, and then we have Dutch, we have French, we have German, and then nobody understands how it matches. But we were working a lot on non-verbal communication with figuring things. We even had some sand therapy and etc. And I can only tell you that it has worked out a lot of beautiful results, especially also in the fact that people could express their own story just through figuring it, and not always as it is happening in official offices that they have to tell once again and once again and once again their story. So I should really like to encourage, and I congratulate the Estonian British Council, and I knew it from Morocco, and I congratulate also the German colleagues we know since a few times to go on it. I should like to emphasize you and encourage you. There are not only sports to bring people together, there is also art and culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Rudy. Any other short, very short comment, because we are running out of time and we have to keep a schedule? Please, as brief as you can.
Hi, my name is Basil Haider. I'm from the Netherlands, but I'm originally from Syria. My question is to you, Ursula, but the panel is welcome to also provide some input. I'm going to start by a disclaimer. This might be coming from an ignorance part. Sorry, this is not going to be as short as we hope. So I didn't study in Europe. But what I do know is where I come from, the word foreigner is not associated with a negative sense. Whenever we think of foreigners in Syria, we think mostly of Europeans in shorts in the sun, just like traveling through the old Damascus. I experienced it here differently, because here foreigner is a migrant, migrant is a refugee, and refugee is an economic migrant, and that might hold true altogether. And my question is there a way to tackle this? Because I've been influenced by the British Council. The last thing I did in Syria before the war broke out, I was taking an English course in the British Council, and in March 2011, the British Council closed their doors, and I never got to finish my B2 English course. Yeah, luckily I got my refund, so. And the question is, can we use this, I'm going to describe it by soft power, culture, arts, to kind of tackle these issues all at once. So, for example, you see it on TVs. People don't know about all these countries, and it's used more of a joke, a punchline. In the Dutch TV, a lot of people were not comfortable using Arabic numbers because it's a Dutch society or an European society. Not many people knew that we actually use Arabic numbers. Well, aside from Arabic countries, because Arabic countries use Indian numbers. And the question is, can we tackle this in the books, at schools? This is something that we take part in, but on a very small scale, very limited scale. I've been to classrooms, I've talked to people, to students, but...
Please wrap up.
Yes. So the question is, I'd like to hear from you, like, is there a way to kind of fix it in the school, in education?
Thank you. Very nice and to the point. I'll give first to Ursula, and then please as brief as possible. We have
Actually,
just 4
the
minutes.
second part, I did a much longer presentation in Narva. And actually, the second part would have been about education. We have been working in education. I've been in the British Council for 23 years now. English language is a means of communication, of course, and we have been exploiting this widely. But talking about education, we have felt this almost urgently in Estonia, because Estonia has got 2 parallel education systems. We have the Estonian education system and we have the Russian education system. History was taught even 20 years ago in Russian schools very differently than we understood it in Estonia and in Europe. So when we started our people-to-people program, the first thing was that we addressed the school leaders, and through the school leaders also teachers. So we started training them, and we also took them to study to us and exposed them to a different kind of school management, because the Russian schools management at that time was extremely authoritarian. It was very Soviet style. So we understood we needed to do, because the aim of the people-to-people program is to bring people together, to make them understand each other, to ask them to co-create life together, projects together. And we understood that education had an absolutely crucial point, because the kids get their understanding of the world very much from the families, and the second one would be through education. So we've been working very, very hard in the area of education. Critical thinking, analytical thinking are in the Estonian curriculum on a general level. So every teacher is expected to teach the kids in those skills. We have special programs in media literacy, creating media, again, we do not just hit on the head, but sorry, I will just. But we teach it through teaching how to create media, but through this analyze media as well. So education and culture, absolutely crucial.
Just 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, 1 minute. Basically, I totally agree with what been said about the importance of art and culture and like non-formal education in a way to reach out and break barriers between citizens. But what we see in most of country of conflicts, unfortunately, these centers are the first that been shut down and the first that been closed. And these are like, I think this is like a living example of what Basil has mentioned. So like what we affecting are the regular citizens who like basically this is the peak of need of having such locations and such places and such activities. But unfortunately what we're seeing on the other side, they are the first ones to be closed. So yeah, I think also what's happening, for example, now with the Russian citizens, which is I think also been mentioned in the morning, I think when we talk also about like, okay, Russia, well, it's not Russia, it's like the Russian government. This I think is also so important to highlight. We don't want to generalize and stigmatize new people the same as like all other nationalities. We are not our governments, and this is I think what we all been talking from the morning, that we have the government representation. Most of the time people agree or disagree, but this is a different topic. But I think it's so important to make this clear division. It's not Russians, it's really the Russian government. The people who are in power, these are the ones that doing all these things. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. Very nice conclusion. Yes. Very nice conclusion to an excellent panel. Thank you all for your input. Unfortunately, we don't have any more time, so we have to release all of you for lunch. But only in these conference and meetings, lunch is usually one of the most productive networking opportunities. So please use it with all this food for thought, accompanied with the actual food for having a productive thing. And thank you all. I pass the floor to His Excellency the Ambassador for the details.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, I don't have really much to say except to thank again our panel participants for the insights, the information that they have shared with us on their activities, their thinking. And by way of practical information, we are very, very pleased to have all this group, this large group here today, which shows how much the subject is important to all of you, to all of us. But it has a downside, which is space for lunch, which means that we're going to divide you in two groups. The first group, I would say, this half can go to lunch first. You have 45 minutes to finish, and he says maximum, okay? And then once you're done, the second group will go downstairs for lunch. Now, lunch is at the Tallink Express. For those who don't know, you go downstairs, and then you cross all the way to the next hotel or the next facility. But you just follow the flow. You'll find it. It's 10 to 2. You have 45 minutes, half an hour to 45 minutes. So the second group should be going down at 2:30, 2:25. Okay? Enjoy your lunch and enjoy the conversation. Yes?
Before we go, let's make a big applause for our film experts, for Urvashi.
For Maria, and for our good friend Michalis. You come back here at the third panel, right? Yes. At 3 o'clock. And according to, I'm sorry myself, I apologize. I supposed to moderate it, but due to my responsibilities, I have to prepare the big show for you. So moderation will be taken by my good friend Michalis. Okay? Thank you.